The day I realized I wasn't broken after all. I hadn't spoken to my mom in 6 years. People always ask why, and I never know how to explain it without sounding like I'm exaggerating. But it was simple, really. My childhood was just noise. Screaming, slamming doors, punishments for things I didn't even do. My mom controlled everything. What I wore, who I talked to, when I could sleep, even when I could breathe, it felt like. She had this way of making me believe I deserved it all. That if she was angry, it was because I'd failed her somehow. By the time I turned 18, I'd stopped trying to argue. I just packed a trash bag full of clothes and left one Tuesday morning while she was at work. No note, no goodbye. I walked out the front door and never looked back. I crashed on my friend Becca's couch for 3 months, working the morning shift at a donut shop downtown. The smell of fryer oil clung to everything I owned. The pay sucked, but it was mine. Every time I messed up an order or dropped someone's change, I'd hear my mom's voice in my head. You ruin everything you touch. But I kept showing up. Every single morning at 4:45 a.m., I showed up. After a while, my manager, Kevin, noticed. He offered me more hours. A few months later, I was shift lead. I saved enough to rent this tiny studio apartment. Bathroom so small you could sit on the toilet and wash your hands at the same time. I furnished it with Facebook Marketplace finds and curbside rescues. My couch had a mysterious stain shaped like Ohio. I didn't care. It was mine. At 21, I signed up for night classes at the community college. Didn't tell anyone. I was terrified I'd fail and prove my mom right. I studied during slow hours at the shop, writing notes on napkins between customers. It took me 4 years to get my associate's degree and another 2 to finish my bachelor's in social work. The day I graduated, I sat in my car for 20 minutes and cried. Not sad tears, just release. I got a job at a nonprofit downtown, helping foster teens. The office looked like every bad movie version of bureaucracy. Buzzing fluorescent lights, coffee-stained carpet, always one printer broken. But the work mattered. Some days I was drowning in files, calls, placements, chaos. Sometimes I wondered if I was actually helping anyone. Then Daisy walked in. She wasn't even on my schedule that day. 14 years old, her foster mom had dropped her off early and left without saying a word. Daisy sat across from my desk, shoulders trembling, tears running silently down her face. I handed her tissues and waited. Finally, she said her foster mom yelled at her that morning, screamed because Daisy had eaten leftover pizza from the fridge, called her selfish, told her she didn't deserve to live there if she couldn't follow rules. And then Daisy said, "Sorry, I'm being dramatic. It's not a big deal," I froze, because 15 years ago, I said the exact same sentence. My mom once screamed at me for eating a granola bar she'd been saving, made me stand in the corner for an hour. I remember the exact pattern of the wallpaper in that corner. I leaned forward and told Daisy, "It is a big deal. You're allowed to eat food in your own home. You're allowed to be upset. None of this is your fault." She looked at me like I'd just said something in another language. Then she asked, "Did your parents ever do that to you?" I could have lied, stayed professional, kept it surface level, but something in her face, that quiet, hopeless apology for existing, broke me open. So I told her the truth. I said, "Yeah, my mom used to scream at me for breathing too loud. I left home with nothing and spent years thinking I was broken, but I wasn't. I just grew up believing the wrong person." She wiped her eyes and whispered, "What changed?" And I said, "I realized she was wrong about me. I did everything she said I couldn't. I built a life, and now I help kids like you, so you never have to feel as alone as I did." She nodded, didn't say anything else, just nodded. We sat there in silence for a few minutes until her caseworker came to get her. As she stood up, she turned to me and said softly, "Thanks for not lying to me." After she left, I just sat there staring at the empty chair for a long time. That's when it hit me. I wasn't that scared kid anymore. I wasn't running from her voice in my head. I'd built a life so far removed from her control that I could finally sit across from someone like Daisy and mean it when I said, "It's not your fault." That was the moment I realized I was stronger than my past.